Today we're going to be going over the whole of Aiwass Aeon by 1349. So the first thing you need is a guitar in E standard. In the first riff, take the timing and the bars with discretion, because this album wasn't recorded to a metronome, so you'll notice some of the notes bleeding into the next bar. Here's the first riff. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to palm mute on the A string and play a power chord here. So it's going to be 6, 8 and 9. And then 2 strums on the next power chords up on the fretboard. So those chords are completely chromatic, and then you loop that round a few times. And on the last time, the palm mutes with the first chord, then a trill on the 7th and 8th fret of D. And that loops around for a few times. Here's the second riff. You can also play it like this, and here's the first notes. It just follows a normal E power chord, 9 on D, 7 on A. Then you do that twice. Next part. So it's going to be 7, 8, 11, 8. Next part. Open, 8, 7, open. Then it's going to be 11, 8, open, 8. And to finish the riff off, 7, open, 12, 8. So there's all the notes. Focus on getting the notes down before the speed, because it's a very unique riff in the way that it loops round. And to finish off that riff, so it's going to be a palm mute on the A string, F power chord, E power chord, then it's going to be G sharp, F, then after the F, open palm mute, back to the F and the E, and to finish, palm mute on the A power chord, 12 and 14, then back to the F power chord, 8 and 10. And that's to finish off that section, and that riff also finishes off the song. Then back to riff 1. But instead, the ending, instead of doing the trill, just this A power chord here, 7 and 9 on D and G. And that takes us nicely onto the verse riff. So it starts off with the A power chord, and in between the chords you're going to be palm muting on the A string. So it's going to be the A chord, 7 and 9 on D and G. Then it's going to be the G sharp, 1 fret down. Then we're going to move it up the string, so the E flat. And then we're going to finish on this A sharp chord here, which is 8 and 10 on D and G. So there's the chords, and then of course just add the palm mutes in between. And then to finish the riff is the sliding power chord, F to E, and then we move on to the next riff. So there's 2 variations to the ending of the next riff. So at the beginning it starts off with the strummed E, and then later on in the song it's the palm mutes. Here's the chords. We're going to play a D minor triad, 5-3-2 on A, D and G. Then 4 palm mutes on the low E power chord here. The ending chords are G, G sharp, then E. And then later on in the song, the riff does this. It's just 4 palm mutes on the low E. and then it's the hardest riff in the song. This is a very Aeon style of writing, lots of palm mutes coming on and off, fast power chords, lots of movement in the fretboard. And it starts off like this. Palm mute on the low E, C power chord, B power chord, back to the palm mute. And then it's just a strummed E power chord. Then we do the same beginning on the same chords. And then the power chord changes, so instead of an E, we go up 3 frets to G. Then it goes back to the first bit. Then you've got this series of hammer-ons and pull-off. 10, 11, 10, 8. Then the first part of the riff repeats, then you've got the B ending, palm muted power chords, G, A, B, D, E, F. Then it goes back to the groovy breakdown riff. Then the second last riff in the song is a variation from the verse riff. Very similar in terms of rhythms, and here's the chords. So it starts off with the A again, then does the A to A sharp thing, and then it moves to the E flat, then goes back to the A. And then that section ends with this. Cool inverted power chords, just an E, F, and E flat. And then it goes back to the fast riff. And the song finishes in the same way that riff finishes. So that's Aiwass Aeon. All the tabs are in the description below, free to download, and stay tuned for the next video.